not the you sent me.
You
This
promised.
is the difference. Yeah, here's not the you promised. And then I felt so much shame after.
You're
was
an
like,
interesting person. So when I was doing it and he was on my body and I know that's not the same body, come on. So first, before we start anything, right? I want to check if you know this trend. Ruby-chan, hi, 何が好き? チョコミントよりもあなた. So today we are talking about
catfishing.
okay.
Narisumashi.
Narisumashi? Do
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this term before.
Yeah.
Like you're
Unless you
trying
go
to be someone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I think you hear it a lot when you go to the bank. If you use the ATMs and they tell you like, are you sure you're who you're wiring this money to? Have you ever
like
heard the
Narisumashi ご注意ください.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
like
yeah.
オレオレ詐欺みたいな.
Yeah, exactly, because they'll call grandma and
Yeah.
be like, oreo, and I need money. And then they'll be like, okay, and then just wire the money or whatever. So at the bank machine, it's like, are you sure you're wiring it
To the right person.
to the right person and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so anyways, my understanding is that is the same narisumashi for catfishing. And I wanted to talk about it, not because it's necessarily a recent story, but I was reminded in the last year, I've been catfished twice.
Wow.
Yeah. So, first one is with a Southeast Asian guy.
Okay.
And he was sending me face pics, and then, you know, as it started getting like racy or whatever, like dick pics and stuff like that, right? And so I get to his house, and it's kind of dark inside. Not like black or whatever, but
Okay.
I guess he was, well, no, I thought he was setting the mood, but he was probably trying to catfish me, right? So like a little bit dark or whatever.
Hold on, but they usually greet you at the genkan, right? They will
Yes.
come out and be
Yes.
like, hey, like it's me.
Yeah.
But it was already really dark, you couldn't tell his
No,
face? Where
I did look at his face, and I was like,
You couldn't tell from the first sight, like if it's just a bad angle or...
it looked not like the guy, but he was handsome. So I looked at him and I'm like, you look a little bit different, but you are, okay. So I go ahead, right? And so like, we're like making out and stuff like that. And then he like whips it out, and that was fine. And as I'm going down on him, I'm realizing that what I'm going down on is uncut.
But on the picture he sent it to you was a cut one?
Yes. And so I'm sitting there and I have this dick in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not the dick you sent me. This is
promised.
the different. Yeah, here's not the dick you promised. This is different. And I was so confused.
Okay, sure. Before you start, I have to confess.
You've sent catfishing dick pics.
And ass pics. Well, because it's so annoying when people ask me, like, oh, send me an ass pic, send me a dick pic. And I don't have one on my phone. And I'm too lazy to take one. It's like, who cares, you know? Like, I just send over like erotic, like porn star's ass. Like,
Because you're trying to just create a mood, right?
I'm just like,
And you're like,
deal with it, like get over with it, you know, like kind of let's just move on from this topic. I know you just need to something to fantasize, you know.
okay, fine. But make sure it looks kind of like in the area of like what you're gonna offer.
I get it, but I just didn't think people really value the size or the shape or the katachi of the dick that seriously.
Of course,
you know,
what?
You know, like me, because I'm going for that person. Like, I understand your frustration if that's like that person's face, but like, are you really going for that person because of his tools? That's why I do things like that, you know, because like whatever, you just need something to fantasize on. And
For me, what starts, well, already when I saw him, I thought the face was a little bit different, right? So it puts everything into doubt for me. Everything becomes
so
fake.
you already have a seed of doubt.
Doubt, yes.
And you're like, while you're doing it, you just keep.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm like, what? Like, I'm thinking about entirely something different in my mind. Like, what's going on here? And like, why are you lying to me?
Did you confront him?
So, okay, so this is the next part.
Yes.
And it kind of goes into my second story as well, which I'll talk about later, is I didn't. And until after.
After you finish.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here, again, we're in the middle of it, and I'm thinking all these things are in my head, and I'm thinking, well, like, there are two options. Like, you finish and you leave, or you call him out.
So he came over.
No, I went to his house.
His house, yes. Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually easier for me to leave. If he was here, I'd have to go through the whole, like, get the fuck out, right?
Right.
So it's actually quite easy for me. I could have just gone up and been like, you catfish me, fucker, bye, and leave.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And then I was really angry at myself after it was a fucking long walk to the station after that. So after I was walking to the station, I was pretty angry about the whole thing.
Wait, hold on, but he's handsome.
Also, what made me angry about the whole thing is I was like, why at that point? Like, this is something I want to talk about later. Like, you already talked about some reasons why you did it. But like, going into a little bit, obviously, catfishing is a worldwide, global thing. Yeah. But in particular, maybe some reasons are more common in Japan. And I was thinking about, why would you do that when you are handsome? And why would you send the wrong type of tool over as well? You have a screwdriver and you've sent
a scissor.
Exactly. And I was fuming on the way back to the station, and then he messaged me and was like, that was so hot, let's do it again. And then I just laid into him in the message. And I even said to him as well, I was like, you know, what's even more disappointing is that, like, you catfished me and I found you were handsome anyways. Like, did you feel like you were not handsome enough?
Yeah.
Or did you, like, what's the reason? And then he's like, no, it's me. And then I, like, sent him back again. I was like, your dick sure is not you, especially for a gay man. Like, we know dicks.
The only time I got catfished, pretty recently, was the guy. It was like last year, pretty recently. And that guy was like way more handsome than the actual picture he sent it to me. And I was baffled. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why was the reason? Then I didn't confront him because I was like, okay.
I got
an economy to
first
business,
class,
you know? So why would I even bother with that? Like, then I just left and I didn't question him. But I think it's because of, you know, people don't want to out themselves online and people may take advantage of the situation. So I don't know the real answer, but that's my guess.
I think what's really common in Japan is like shirtless only photos, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to get someone to send a face. You know, you hear sometimes people be like, oh, I don't want my face up on Grindr because people could find me.
Well, but right now, you know, they have the time, like the expiration 10-second one, and you cannot even take a screenshot.
But you could, if I have
you
two
have
phones,
two phones, you can take another one.
That's what I think sometimes.
Wow. But like, I feel like waza.
Like the extent of you going to that someone's like ready to.
Yeah.
But I think when you're.
Fuck you up.
But when you're that afraid to even show your face.
You have like a thousand what if in your head.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
And so like, I did think about that. Like maybe, you know, this person in particular was like, I don't want to be outed. So I'm going to send fake pictures and then I can deny it or whatever. And we do see that in Grindr or on Grindr with people only showing their bodies. So I believe it's a possibility. Yeah.
I kind of want to ask a question. So, you know, in Asia, I know probably not like too much about Japan, but usually people put a lot of like filters and like, I mean, even I do that, like sometimes, just like to modify a little bit.
I called you out on that. I'm like, that doesn't look like your face.
No, but it's very common practice in Asia. Like that's not even considering catfish. It's just a filter. Like you make your face a little bit smaller, you make your nose a little bit smaller.
You make your little dick a little bit bigger.
You make your skin a little bit more. Like I know with current like modern technology, the AI, it can even go further. Like it can be so convincing.
Yeah.
You know, but what do you feel about that? Do you consider that like a slight change?
Yes, catfish.
That's not a catfish. It's a filter.
I do think a lot of times it'd probably be a good catfish in the way that you were talking about. Like you reach them and they look more handsome. And I think that's probably how I would feel because I feel like all the effects, the photoshopping, kind of makes you look not human. And so I'm sure once I actually see you in person, you would look a lot better because I'm not attracted
you don't like
to,
that
I don't like
kind
Photoshop.
of filter.
I don't like those filters. Yeah.
Okay.
But I probably wouldn't go with meet someone like that because I am so turned off by that. Like unless it's extremely well done. But usually I think when people start doing that, like kiriganai, they just keep and then they look kind of like a monster.
But that was the early.
now it's better.
Now it's very more natural.
Do you have? Show me some of your self.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not myself.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So this is the original and this is the after.
All of them look fake as fuck.
Really? If I don't show you the before picture, can you, when you look at this picture, you know it's Photoshop.
Yes.
But would you imagine they look like this?
No, I probably would say that their skin isn't as smooth and nice or something like that, right?
So that's my point.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's another level. Like,
Yeah.
I would just put all the jokes aside. I think this is catfishing.
To
this level. But I
Yes.
feel like what I do, like when I put on filter, like it's not catfishing. Like, come on.
No.
Come on.
It is.
Okay, the thing is, like, you have to understand, I really don't spend any time on those filtering.
Oh, you
I
do
always just
automatically.
I just always use one button. So that's the most like minimal and also like most natural way to filter things. And I think, you know, compared to other Asian people, my way of doing it is already like the bare minimal.
It is. I do find like a lot of people, I've been noticing it a lot, especially in Japanese photos lately, a very sharp noses, like when drag queens do their makeup, and they do it
Like a K-pop nose.
and it's. I think what did Bianca Del Rio call it? A swordfish nose, where it's like. And it's very common in a lot of Japanese photos now when they'll do it with makeup, and they'd also do it with Photoshop, and it's yeah. So if I see that initially, that would set off alarm bells in me. I probably wouldn't pursue it.
Yeah.
But this person in particular just used an entirely different
photo.
Yeah. So next story is worse, I think. It was a hookup, same sort of type of thing where like sending things back and forth, it's getting heated. He's like, drop by my house. So then I go to his house, again, same sort of thing. It was like dark inside. But this setting was much more like, I'm just gonna be like waiting for you.
So so you can, the door is unlocked. You just like, please go
in,
help yourself and come in.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gonna be a dark room.
Yeah,
and he's
and
gonna
just,
be
like,
blindfolded.
And he was.
He was blindfolded? Okay.
And so like, we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
And in this particular scenario, I was the top. So he's covered kind of half his face, right?
Yeah.
And then he kind of like, I guess it was good for him. So he kind of went like, because he was like enjoying it, right? Like pleasure.
Yeah.
And then I got a glimpse of the inside of his mouth, and it was like
all rotten. Rotten.
Like there was like one missing. They were all over the place. Like I'm not trying to like be shallow and mean. I'm just saying like it was.
But please go ahead.
It was like
nasty.
Nasty level.
Okay.
Like nasty for me personally. It was like nasty
teeth
level.
Important. Yeah, teeth are important.
And again, the ones when he was sending it to me, he would even have ones that were like not like, but like a smile.
Yeah.
It looked like you have like
nice teeth.
Nice
okay
teeth.
Yeah.
Okay teeth. But I'm like in my head now, like what do I do? Do I just like pull out and like leave? And
Did you finish?
I finished. And then I felt so much shame after because I was
You're
like,
an interesting person.
I was like, because for me, it wasn't a finish because like, oh, I want to get off. It was more like, let's just finish this situation so I can go.
Yeah.
So it was like, how quickly can I get out? And that's where my mind went. How quickly can I get out of it? Get out of here was not just fucking leave. It was let's finish and leave. So let's finish quickly. And I felt really ashamed at that after that because I was like, why couldn't I just stand up for myself and be like, you fucking catfished me. Fuck you, I'm out of here.
No, it's the thing, it's just very awkward. It's very awkward, it's very uncomfortable to confront someone.
Yeah, it is. It is,
and
right?
honestly, like if you can, and you don't know what that person is capable of.
That's true too.
Like for your own
and you're
safety.
Naked.
Yeah, like and you
that's
can
true.
Like if I was put in that situation, I probably in my mind was like just to finish as fast as possible and just leave. And so I wouldn't think like you should be like so harsh on yourself because
nice.
it's a very normal human reaction to my knowledge, you know, because I would done the same. So I think you're fine. But I want to add on something.
Okay, sure.
So two things. One is about the teeth, right? So like I was asked before by a guy and he was really good looking and he asked me before meeting up, he said like, can you take a picture of you doing this?
Oh, I think you told me that once.
It was on one of the videos as well.
Yeah.
So just a reminder for everyone is that like some people really care about teeth, and even though like I had genuine pictures of me not smiling and revealing my teeth, and they were asked me to like show the full set of my teeth, you know, I've been asked that before. The second thing is I actually did the reverse of what happened to you. So a person really, like, I was really horny and I was younger and I was really not like, okay, let's be sex positive. Like some people just, sometimes we just want to have some like crazy, nasty fun. Yeah.
Okay.
So they asked me to like, put on blindfold and make sure the room is dim and make sure I never unblindfold myself. Myself. So they're gonna do like I'm like 네마치じゃないですけど なんていうの?
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
It's like dark in the dark room and you just wait for them. So I did that play before. And the person obviously sending a very handsome picture. It's like very sporty.
You're like moving?
No, I did not.
You didn't?
I did not because I know I'm gonna be disappointed because I knew it was not him. So because the body type was just very different. So when I was doing it and he was on my body and I know that's not the same body, come on. But I like you, I didn't, like I just like, okay, sure. Like
finish.
It's like, it's just a cover of a skin cover of a person.
I'm sure you look like this.
So I kind of lied to myself, just like finish the fantasy because I knew if I blindfold myself, it's gonna be a totally different person. And I just, okay, why do I want to do to myself? Let's just like finish it when it's still hot.
Yes.
So I let it happen and I didn't look back.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I do think, so I've done that too. But I did actually lift it up because I did because I started, so maybe people think that I'm not playing the game correctly.
You're not playing the game.
I'm the bad person, I don't know, whatever, comment below. But when he came over, I was touching the body and I was like, this does all match up. So he didn't send his face, but he was matching his body or whatever and all this stuff. And like, we were actually having a really good time. There was a point where I was like, I'm having a good time. So like, maybe I should just let the fantasy, because that's part of it, I think.
Yeah.
Is like, I think that's why like glory holes can be fun as well.
Right.
Yeah. Because you're just like la 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 la, and you can think of whatever you want.
It's a blind box.
It's a what?
A blind box.
Blind box, exactly.
You know, my
Exactly. To be fair, it was when I was on my back, and it kind of like moved anyways, and so I kind of was like, and I kind of looked, and I couldn't see really clearly because I couldn't go like that.
Okay.
But he looked pretty handsome. Yeah. And so
really?
Yeah.
Okay. You're not playing the game though.
But that's different because it's mutually consent that you're like, no, you don't think so? Because you kind of
but it's still catfishing. But it's still catfishing, isn't it?
Because he came over with a different body than
I'm 1,000% sure that he's not the same person, right?
And he's asking, and he's trying to justify to be like, that guy can't see me anyways, so he will never know.
So he's actually taking advantage of the situation.
That's true. Yeah, it's manipulative. You're right.
But I kind of just want to finish the fantasy. So I didn't let it become a huge drama where even confront him, because confronting people at this kind of situation is very awkward and dangerous sometimes.
Yeah, especially in their house.
Yeah. So I back to my theory is like you shouldn't feel nasty or guilty about your behavior because that's only normal. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, anyways, I want to throw the questions back to you guys. What do you think is a catfish? You know, do you think me putting on filter is catfishing? Do you think me sending over a fake dick pic where ass pic is catfishing? Because personally, I don't think so.
And also, do you think if part of the play is to blindfold and not see the other person, is it okay at that point to catfish, I guess?
Oh my God, this is such a funny topic.
Comment below.